In today's episode, we are going to be touching on the Roman Reigns Lucha tournament that was recently announced. After that, we're going to be talking about some questionable booking that has been happening to two champions on WWE TV week in and week out. Following that, what are some of the greatest finishing moves ever? Also, we're going to talk about Raw last night, Solo Sikoa's huge momentum, maybe even talk on why is Dominic Mysterio losing every single match. And also, we're going to be talking about some small moments that I cherish with me as a WWE super fan. All that and more in this episode. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zigzag Wrestling Club. My name is Corbin, and thank you for joining me here today. This has been such a calm week in wrestling. I know I do have some big news coming up here in a second, but other than that, I was watching through the episodes of SmackDown and Raw, and me personally, I was kind of just like, nothing really huge happened. So a lot of this is going to be filler with some random questions that I've come up with, that I've seen online, one of them. And I actually think this is going to be a really fun episode, so make sure to stick around to the end. First of all, Roman Reigns to defend the world title September 14th in Mexico City, and he will face the winner of the Luchador tournament. So immediately, I saw this, and everybody knows, like, we've seen Penta's already had his match, and we've already seen the tournament, but that wasn't, that was before I could film this and whatever. So I think after I had already filmed this last week. So this is news to this podcast. I am actually really intrigued to see how this all works out, because I saw this and I immediately thought of, okay, El Grande Americano. Surely, right? I thought of El Grande Americano and I thought of Penta. And funny enough, once we finally look at the heavyweight championship tournament, Luchador tournament, you see, like, Penta's obviously going to win this. So everybody on here is, so Penta versus Laredo Kid. That was the one that happened last night. Next week, I think we are getting Psycho Clown versus La Parca. We are getting Dragon Lee versus El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., and also Ray Phoenix versus El Pascal, I think is what his name is. It's kind of getting blocked off in the photo I'm looking at. So El Fiscal, that's what it is. Sorry. I know all the big AAA fans are yelling at me right now. I'm sorry. I'm a fake fan for real. But I'm excited about this tournament. I really did think El Grande was going to be in here. I thought Dominic would be in here at least, but we all saw how that went on Raw. And after looking at this, I'm going to run through my predictions really quick. Now, I know that a match has already happened, but it doesn't matter, because I would never have picked Laredo Kid to beat Penta. And I think Penta's going to win the whole thing. So I'm going to have Penta win against Laredo Kid. Psycho Clown versus La Parca. Give me La Parca. We've seen him show up on the Royal Rumble last year. And I think WWE has actually taken a liking to his character that he's portraying down on AAA. So give me La Parca. Dragon Lee versus Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. I have such a tough time saying his name. I try and say it fast like they do on commentary. I just can't do it. But give me Dragon Lee. And then obviously Ray Phoenix is going to beat El Fiscal, because that's a real person. I've actually never even seen him wrestle. Now, I'm not like some AAA truther that watches week in and week out, but, I watch pretty regularly. So, and then we're going to have Penta versus La Parca, and obviously give me Penta. And then we'd have Dragon Lee versus Ray Phoenix, which I think you would let Ray Phoenix win, because then now in the finals for the number one contendership in the Luchador tournament, you would have Penta versus Ray Phoenix, the Lucha Brothers. That would be cinema. Give me Penta to win it all, though. I actually think this is a good idea from WWE, because you look at Penta and the momentum he's had ever since he got here, held the Intercontinental Championship, just lost to Chad Gable. You're thinking to yourself, how do we get Penta main event scene? He's already moved past the IC title scene. He doesn't need to be there anymore. Realistically, he's too popular. He's too good. Let's move him up already. This would be a good way to make him a number one contender. And then it's like, even if he loses, no one really expected him to win anyways. But now he's at least dancing around the Roman Reigns scene. And also, who knows, maybe something happens where maybe Solo Sikoa gets involved, maybe LA Knight gets involved. Who knows? Like, Penta could freaking win the heavyweight championship. Like, literally, who knows? Like, but I think that obviously this is kind of just a thing to build up another opponent for Roman Reigns for him eventually to beat, but also losing to Roman Reigns isn't going to stunt your growth. So I wouldn't feel bad about that. Good way to get him into the scene. I'm actually very excited for this. Other breaking news. Brock Lesnar has officially retired. So thank you, Brock. He's the GOAT. I've already done this like 6 months ago or whatever it was. So just go listen to that episode if you want to hear my giant Brock Lesnar spiel. But, you know, I always really liked Brock Lesnar. The dude is just absolutely jacked. He's like the strongest, biggest dude I've ever seen. Pause. And yeah, sucks that he's gone, but also like have fun in retirement. So good on him. I was looking at Reddit the other day. Do any of these superstars return in 2026? I went over to the r/SantiZap videos Reddit just because I like to see what people post on there, and I might start to kind of include some of these questions that people post on here because there's honestly some good stuff. And it immediately comes from the fans, the audience, the viewers, and this one kind of piqued my interest. So the first person on here is Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair just had her baby, I believe, last week, or at least, I believe it was last week. She had her baby, which, praying for recovery. I hope the baby's healthy and all that stuff. Before the end of the year, I think might be kind of pushing it, because you also have to think it's like you're not just gonna re-debut Bianca Belair at like some random SmackDown. I mean, surely, right? I think you'd have to wait for a big PLE. And what's left? We have Money in the Bank, which, speaking of Money in the Bank, for all of my YouTube viewers or people watching on Spotify, you see my little Money in the Bank briefcase down there. I ordered one of those because it was like $60 off on WWE Shop because it was SummerSlam weekend. So I got myself a Money in the Bank briefcase because it's my favorite PLE of the year. And I've always wanted one. And I had a little bit of money to spend. And I made probably a pretty poor decision, but it's really cool and I love it. So that's going to be in the background from now on. But getting back to this, like, she re-debuts at, let's see, Money in the Bank, which I think is just too soon. It's just too soon. 2 months after having your baby, you know, you got to get ring rust off. You got to, you know, get back into shape. You got to, most importantly, take care of the baby. So it's like, that's too soon. And then you would have War Games. You have Survivor Series. That's a potential appearance, maybe. Not necessarily that she's going to show up and wrestle on that day, but that's December-ish. I always forget. It's like end of November, December-ish. I could see a situation where she would make some sort of appearance where she shows up and she's like, oh, letting you guys know I'm back, big PLE, and then she eventually shows up maybe a month later on like a SmackDown. So I think before the end of the year would be definitely pushing it. I think Survivor Series for Bianca would be probably the move, and I think that's where she would be showing up at. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen. I could see them doing a thing at the Royal Rumble. She returns and wins the Royal Rumble. That's like what's kind of flying through my head. So Bianca Belair, is she going to return in 2026? I'm going to say no. Who's next? Naomi. When did she have her baby? She already had her baby. Let's see. It was right after SummerSlam, 9 months. Yeah, she's had her baby. So you got to think, I think at this point she's getting ready to make her return to some extent. I could see her returning at Money in the Bank. Now, she doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase again. Maybe Survivor Series. One team's like, oh, we got a special guest, and that ends up being Naomi. That would make sense. She's had time to take care of the baby, figure stuff out, get back into ring shape. For Naomi, I'm going to say yes. I think Naomi returns before the end of 2026. Rhea Ripley, man, topic of the town is what people want to say. People want to call her. It sucks what happened to her. So if you guys don't know, she's been off TV for 3 months, 4 months at this point. I don't remember. It was sometime in June, so I guess 2 months. Sorry, guess I was overshooting that a little bit. And she just had knee surgery. I think it was probably something where they thought to themselves like, "Hey, we don't really need her to have surgery right now, and it's not bad enough." And then once they finally looked at it, and they probably realized like, we can't have you perform without having knee surgery, or something of that sort. So, will she return before the end of the year? Knee surgery recovery, I would think, takes a long time. She's another person that I'm thinking like SummerSlam range. Let's look it up. How long to recover from knee surgery? And I don't know what kind of knee surgery she got, because there's a bunch of different types and things that you got to get done and whatever. This says 2 to 6 weeks for minor procedures, 3 to 6 months for total knee replacement. So let's just take the middle of that. Let's just say it's 3 months. And of course, I'm no doctor. That's literally just me like shooting a number out there. 3 months takes us. So we're at the end of August. Oh, wait, no, we're in the middle of August. So August, September, October, middle of October, December-ish, November-ish, sorry. We're looking at Survivor Series. Again, we're looking at Survivor Series with Rhea. And they said that she wasn't going to be out too much longer. So it makes me think that they plan on having her return before the end of the year. But again, knee surgeries like this, you never know what's going to happen. Rhea Ripley, I'm going to say yes. Yes, I think she returns before the end of the year in 2026. Who's next? Big Bronson Reed. He should be coming back anytime. I looked at the timestamp the other day. It was right before Elimination Chamber. 7 months. That was in February. And so September should be the date he should be cleared to get back going again. So again, where does he show up? I think he probably shows up like at a Money in the Bank. Maybe the Vision is tagging with someone and he comes back to help them out. He definitely returns before the end of this year. I thought he was going to be back already. I thought he was going to at least make some sort of appearance, but I think they might just be waiting until he gets 100% prepped and ready to go. He comes back before the end of 2026. Ilya Dragunov. This is another one. This is a crazy one to me because he's not even hurt. From what I've heard, he's not hurt. He's just been off TV. He had a little bit of a contract dispute from what I've heard, and he is not been on TV in quite a long time, which I think is ridiculous because the dude is goated. And will he return before the end of the year? I mean, I hope so. But again, at the same time, it's like he's not even hurt. He's just in catering, and he hasn't even been on like Saturday, not even main event, like the weekend shows. So I really don't know what they're doing with him. Like maybe he even gets like I mean, God forbid he gets like released. Like that would be insane, right? But returning before the end of the year, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and I'm going to say no. If he's been off TV for this long, what makes me think that he's going to make some sort of return into some storyline? Like maybe he returns to fight Baron Corbin. Carmelo Hayes is there. That's the only thing I see. I see Carmelo Hayes getting involved with Baron Corbin, and then Ilya Dragunov shows up and they do some sort of program. I'm going to say yes. I'm actually going to say yes, he will return before the end of the year. Next up is Asuka. No. I don't know what is going on. I don't know if she's another person who's under a contract dispute. I don't know if she's waiting for her contract to end so she can leave the company. I don't know what's going on. I keep forgetting she's even in the company. I'm going to say no. She will not return before the end of the year, but I hope she does. Last one. This is Johnny Gargano, which technically I'm going to agree with. He hasn't been on the show because he's just laying on a box. I don't know what they're doing. I have no clue what they are doing with Johnny Gargano. Probably one of the best wrestlers in the entire company is laying on a box. He's been laying on a box for, how long has it been? He went down to NXT and did a small little feud with Miles Bourne. How long ago was that? And that was literally like a 2-week thing. He did one match. He was technically in two, but he landed on the other person by falling over and he won. That was so many months ago. And then before that, he was doing the whole box thing too. Yeah, no. Like, will he return before the end of the year? I sure freaking hope so. I'm going to say yes to be optimistic. I'm optimistic that he will have an in-ring return before the end of the year. And along with Candice LeRae, she also needs to be back in the ring before the end of the year, but her, I'm definitely not sure on. All right. Let's talk about SmackDown really quick. I don't have too much to say, but I think that Chelsea Green might turn into the women's champion. As long as, of course, she doesn't have to get surgery and do whatever, and she's not going to be out for too long. I think that Rhea Ripley just now getting surgery means that she's going to be out for a lot longer, and I think she's going to end up dropping the title. They're no longer saying interim. Also, it's no longer saying interim champion. So I think this is the correct choice. I think if your women's champion has been out for 2 months and is just now getting surgery because they realize the injury is worse than they thought, she's going to be out for maybe another 3 months. It's like, we got to do something different. We got to change it up. So I think you just make Chelsea Green the women's world champion and just leave it at that, legitimately. And of course, like, now Chelsea's injured, but also Chelsea has a, orbital bone injury. I hope that's right. That's the bone right underneath your eye. And the thing is why are we not just going to give Chelsea a mask? You can, your face can heal as long as you have the mask on. That's what a lot of people do. That's what Rhea did. That's what the dashing or undashing Cody Rhodes did. Chelsea's worn a mask before to cover up some of her stuff, and she bedazzled it. Dude, freaking why not? She would be so funny as a champion, Chelsea Green champion, wearing the giant mask, and she's got it bedazzled, and it says champion along the front of it, or something stupid, something so Chelsea Green. I don't think there's a reason to take the belt off of her. Because if it's an injury that heals after, let's say, 6 weeks, that's 6 episodes of SmackDown. Maybe she doesn't show up for 2 of them. And then the next 4, she has a mask on. And maybe she's not necessarily wrestling, but she's involved in something. And then she can finally wrestle at some point with the mask on. Because I know that's what Rhea did. So I think that that's probably possible. I don't think it's going to be this thing where they strip her of the championship because the injury's so bad. It doesn't seem that bad. I think this is something they can hopefully hold out on. And I think that's kind of what everybody is feeling right now because they don't want Chelsea to drop this championship. But the reason she is injured, and I'm not saying this is anybody's fault, like Chelsea said on her Instagram, if you guys follow her, you wrestle, you're going to get hurt. It's how it works. It's part of the job. Fatal Influence, the girls went to do their finisher on her, and she kind of fell a weird way. And Lainey Reed just kind of fell on Chelsea's face. An injury, while I was watching the match, it happened. And the only thing I was thinking at that moment wasn't, oh my gosh, Chelsea may have broke her orbital bone. It was wow, look at this dog shit booking. This is unbelievable. Yeah, Chelsea Green, your women's champion, got pinned on SmackDown. What are we doing? This is your women's world champion, and you are trying to protect Tiffany Stratton from taking the pin? Your U.S. champion? No. You have it in a DQ or a count. You got to do something. You cannot have your women's world champion in her first match as champion just get pinned by the tag team champions. That is not how this works. I just think that was just insane. After that happened, I literally lost almost all interest in the rest of the SmackDown episode. like I still watch, but I was like kind of distracted while I was watching it. That just kind of pissed me off. You can't have champions losing consistently. Like I said at the beginning of the episode in my little intro, we're going to be talking about another one that's been even worse, uh, getting booked even worse. And I think this is just terrible. She has this huge moment at SummerSlam where she reaches up, she grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase. She went, not the Money in the Bank. I'm ready for November. Sorry, guys. She reaches up, she grabs the Women's World Championship. And for the first time ever, she's your world champion. And you think to yourself, all right, next SmackDown, she's going to get pinned. Well, why is she going to get pinned? Is she going to get hit by JC Jane and then JC Jane is going to cost her the win? No, she's going to lose clean. The silence is deafening because it's stupid. It is very stupid. It's terrible booking, and I'm just upset. I'm just upset, and I got to be honest, I haven't been less interested in a SmackDown since this one. Who had everything necessary to become a megastar, but never reached that level? I got a few names on here. I made sure to toss a girl in there because there was a girl in the back of my head while I was reading that question off. First one I'm going to start off with, someone I grew up watching. I have his mask. That'll end up once I move into my apartment, actually on Friday. So the next time you guys see me or hear me, I'm going to be in my brand new apartment at college, and I'll have a new setup and I'll have stuff in the background. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited. Sin Cara. Sin Cara had a very underrated grasp on the WWE universe whenever he was hot. I can't think of a single person. Like whenever everyone was like younger, it's like everyone watched WWE. But if I were to just talk to some random person, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I used to watch WWE." And I could literally say like, "Oh yeah, do you remember Sin Cara?" And they'd be like, "Dude, oh dude, I had his mask." It'd be like, "Oh dude, Sin Cara, yeah, bro, he was the best." That's what everybody does. He had a very sneaky, underrated connection with the audience, and he sold probably so much merch in those masks because his masks are sick. And I don't know if he necessarily had everything to become a megastar. Like I don't remember him ever talking, but also that's part of his shtick. Like he didn't talk. He was like some silent assassin, silent killer. And then he even revamped himself and he was in the Lucha Dragons with Kalisto, and like they would do the Lucha and everybody loved it. And the people would just go crazy for these guys. And Sin Cara was someone that I honestly thought would end up with like some sort of singles title. Brother, I don't think he won anything. Let me see Sin Cara championships within the WWE. He was the NXT Tag Championship holder once with Kalisto. That's what I thought. That's it. Like, are we serious? Like, this dude had such a grip on the fans, and he only won one championship in NXT. That's kind of crazy to me. So that's like one name I immediately thought of. Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's another one. Every time you turned on the TV back in, 2015, whatever it was, come out and he had that awesome theme song and be like, "I'm afraid I've got some bad news." Like, that was my thing. I freaking loved him. And I'm sure other people loved him too. He had a huge surge in popularity, winning the Intercontinental Championship a few times. And I'm kind of just shocked that he never made that transfer where he was like main event talent, because Mike's skill on Wade Barrett was unbelievable. Bullhammer, that finisher, everybody loved it. Like, that was someone, again, like, kind of stuck in the mid card. They never ended up making their way out. And he really could have become a megastar with just how hated he was as a heel and how good he was as a heel as well. But at the same time, it's like he was just over with everyone. Like, everyone knew who Bad News Barrett was back in the day. And he was someone that definitely could have reached that next level. Next person that could have been a megastar that never got the rocket strapped to their back, Cesaro. That's like the obvious one. I'm not going to do the super obvious one, Dolph Ziggler, because we've been there, and at least he won a World Heavyweight Championship. Cesaro barely ever won anything. U.S. title, maybe Intercontinental Champion. He was tag champs, at least at some point. But Cesaro, of all people on this list, not winning at least one main title in the WWE is just insane. Like, one of the most replayed moments that I see on Instagram is Cesaro picking up Big Show to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I believe he was the very first ever winner. That's back when it actually meant something as well. Like, man, did they sell. And if you listen to that Paul Heyman interview with Chris Van Vliet, he talks about how people think Cesaro didn't really have the mic skill. And Paul Heyman said the dude spoke like 7 languages. And on top of that, Cesaro oozed charisma. But it wasn't necessarily stuff he was saying over the mic. It was kind of just the way he would hold himself and the way he would act. Paul Heyman was like, he had the skills and the abilities to talk on the mic and go in and out of different languages and cut great promos, but he just never really got that opportunity. Cesaro, literally probably one of the strongest competitors WWE's ever seen, especially for a guy of his frame. Like, he looks not skinny, obviously, but like comparatively to some other people, he looks pretty skinny. But dude is just strong as hell. And I cannot believe that he never ended up winning a main scene title. Dakota Kai is my last person on this list. And if there's anyone else that you want to talk about in the comments below, please let me know. I'd love to chit chat with you guys about it. Dakota Kai is the girl I picked because whenever I first really started getting into it, Dakota Kai was a very good mid-card girl. Clean moveset. She was pretty solid on the mic, like nothing, of course, incredible, but she definitely wouldn't talk and it'd make my ears bleed like some people do. And Dakota Kai was one of the people that was getting ready to win the Intercontinental Championship for the first time before she lost in the finals to Lyra Valkyria. And a month later, she gets let go from the company, which I think is so weird. And she's a person that's been in and out of the company a few different times. She gets called back to the company to be with Bailey and Asuka and Io and I believe Kairi Sane eventually, because they formed Damage Control, which was supposed to be this all-women's dominant faction. And I actually really liked Damage Control. I know that might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I don't know if people really liked them or not. I don't really know the general consensus, but Dakota Kai was someone that I was like, okay, now she's going to feud with Lyra. Maybe she gets the IC title back at some point. And then randomly, she's just gone. I was like, really? She had all these ties to Io Sky and to Asuka and Kairi Sane and all these people. And that's it. Like, that's kind of crazy to me that she never got some sort of at least mid-card push. I don't know if technically megastar is the word you'd want to use for Dakota Kai, but I liked her enough to at least get her a mid-card title. The only interesting part of SmackDown, Tatum Paxley makes her debut. So excited for her. I'm a big Tatum fan. Like, I think people need to realize that she might get the rocket strapped on her pretty immediately. I think on the women's side, she's like a sneaky Money in the Bank winner. Legitimately. I think another dark horse would be like Blake Monroe. She's another kind of little sneaky. She hasn't even made her official debut on a match on SmackDown yet. So Tatum debuting, she gives that big cross body to the outside onto Michin and B-Fab. People really did like her debut as well. A huge crowd reaction. I wonder just where exactly she goes. I think immediately she's just going to help out Alexa and Charlotte while they are feuding with B-Fab and Michin and Jade, but that's some pretty good talent to work with if you're Tatum Paxley. It's like, oh, who's your first team with in WWE on the main roster? Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. It's like that's pretty sweet. So I'm excited for her, and I can't wait to see what they do. WWE, do not mess her up, please. What are the greatest finishing moves ever of all time? And this is going to be on a scale of world renowned, community loved from a technical standpoint instead of personal love. So this is not my favorite finishing moves. I made this list kind of like off of like this is a really good finishing move. People outside the WWE know this. And it's a move that gets hit and everybody's like, yes, like that, like that's it. So I'm kind of going, like I keep saying, this is more of a general consensus, me trying to guess what other people like. And I kind of compiled this little list. So at number 10, had to put a submission on here. I just went the Walls of Jericho. I've seen this kind of everywhere. Like this is pretty popular even outside the WWE. People know the Walls of Jericho. I break the walls down, and I even saw a video the other day, and it was making some joke about this guy and this girl were in bed, and you know what the joke's alluding to, and then he goes, but it says when we're getting ready to do this, but this song comes on, and it's break down the walls, and he puts his girlfriend in the Walls of Jericho. Really funny stuff. So I think the Walls of Jericho is probably the most well-known finisher, and that's why I kind of put it at the number 10. Number 9, I got the Trouble in Paradise. Trouble in Paradise is a move that could be hit even if Kofi wasn't like the top of his game, that people still loved. Really cool looking move, hit out of nowhere. I would put it at 9 personally. Number 8, Shooting Star Press. I don't think anyone's ever seen a Shooting Star Press and gone, yeah, that's mid. It's just never happened. There's anybody doing a Shooting Star Press, as long as it looks good, everybody's going to love it. Brock Lesnar Shooting Star Press, Kurt Angle Shooting Star Press, Evan Bourne Shooting Star Press. Like, these are moments and people, and yeah, everybody loves a good shooting star. So that's why I got it at 8. Number 7, kind of a sleeper. I went with the Black Mass. Reason I went with the Black Mass is that's one where I'll get on Instagram and it'll be like top 10 most devastating WWE moves of all time, and that's like literally almost always number 1 is Black Mass, just because of how insane he made that move look. And it sucks that he's gone, but the Black Mass finisher is just disgusting. So I have it at 7. Number 6, I got the Stunner, Stone Cold Stunner. It's not higher just because like other people use the Stunner, and it's not quite as how do I say this right? It's not quite as great as Stone Cold's is, and it doesn't quite have the impact that Stone Cold's does. But I'm gonna just put his at 6 because that's one where, again, if you go outside the WWE, people know what that is for the most part. So I got it at 6. Number 5, Tombstone Pile Driver. People know what a pile driver is. It's very popular. It's a move that used to be hit whenever I was little, and I would see someone hit it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that person's dead. That person's dead. I'm like, oh my gosh, Triple H versus The Undertaker. Oh, Triple H just died because of the Tombstone Pile Driver. So I think if there's ever a move where you're sitting there as a kid just like, oh my gosh, he's dead, that probably deserves to go in your top 10. Number 4, I got the Sweet Chin Music. This could be higher. I think this probably deserves to be maybe 2. But I'm just going to leave it at 4. If you want to move it around in your own brain, go ahead. Sweet Chin Music, Shawn Michaels, stamping his foot down in the corner, getting ready to deliver that huge kick. I mean, come on. Like, what else do you want from a finishing move? Number 3, Seth Rollins, curb stomp. Everybody knows what a curb stomp is. This is something that's used in movies all the time. It's used in, modern day jokes on Instagram and this and that. People outside the WWE know what the curb stomp is. And so this is also a move, like if you were to do this in real life, like someone's pressing you at the bar or something like that, and all of a sudden sweet chin music to the stomach, and they stumble and their heads down towards the ground. You run up, little Seth Rollins curb stomp. People are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, he's dead." Again, the curb stomp is such a devastating looking move that it can't not be in the top 10. Number 2, I think the End of Days is probably one of the greatest finishing moves of all time. Maybe it doesn't deserve to be up this high. Might be yelling at me, but the End of Days is one of those moves that I don't think gets enough credit, and even then, it gets a lot of credit because it's insane. The person swings their legs that way, and then their momentum flies backwards, and then he drops them down into this like flatliner position, and he's got to hold them there the entire time. He does it to literally anyone. Baron Corbin is just insane, like how strong he is. And the End of Days is probably one of the greatest finishing moves ever because it's original. Like, I've never seen anyone else do it. The first time I ever saw that move happen was the one he did on who did he do it on? It was the one on Becky Lynch. That's like one of the first ones I remember as a kid. He hit End of Days on Becky Lynch on a girl. That's like, I was unforeseen back in that time. So yeah, Baron Corbin, goated. End of Days, goated. And at number 1, the RKO. The RKO is a literal meme, like all throughout the internet, like back in whatever it was, 2014, 2016. It was like the RKO meme. Watch out, watch out, watch out. And that was everywhere. People know it outside the WWE. Technical wise, hit out of nowhere. It's not insanely like technical, like what I just said from a technical standpoint. Not like super insane. It's not like, the shooting star press where you got to do a perfect backflip on the top rope and do all this. And it's just a cutter, but he made it iconic. So the RKO, that's my number 1 greatest finishing move of all time. I'll stand on that till the day I die. Moving over to Raw from last night. Again, I don't have too much to say, but Solo Dolo Sikoa might be a dark horse for Money in the Bank. Let's just talk about oozing charisma. Him and Jay are out there having this little like back and forth, and Jay's like, "This your warning shot, bow." The camera pans over, and Solo's ducking down, and he's behind his arm, and he turns around and he goes, "Everyone all right back there? Anyone get shot?" And then, of course, later on, he ends his promo by going, "This is your warning shot." Pew. Pew. Like, no one else has been making fun of the warning shot thing, and he's doing it perfectly. And the reason that Solo is working so well right now is because he just makes fun of people. And that's something that we haven't had in the WWE in such a long time, where it's like, this person's like, "Oh yeah, watch me yeet and watch me do this and that." And he's just like, "Well, you look stupid. That's stupid. Doing this stupid crap. You're going to yeet for 30 minutes. It's like, this is funny. Like, this is what we've been missing. And I think Solo being a dark horse for Money in the Bank makes sense because who's in the running right now? In my opinion, it's Trick Williams, followed by Dominic Mysterio. And other than that, it's got to be Solo Sikoa. No one else has that amount of momentum. And he needs a way to get back into the main event scene like immediately. And I think he's going to, though, because I think he's going to feud with Roman. And I'm going to get there a little bit later. But that might be his way in. So maybe he doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase. But I think it'd be hilarious if he did win it. In my opinion, who's the current WWE MVP for 2026? So far, that's tough. I'm kind of just going to be looking at like character work, how over they are, how good their matches have been, this and that. First of all, up here I have Chelsea Green. I think she most likely has the moment of the year, the championship win of the year, over the course of this year, and obviously a little bit of last year, but over the course of this year, she's just gotten so much fan love and fan support that it's hard to not put her on that forefront for MVP of 2026. So Chelsea's up there. Io Sky as well. Io Sky hasn't had a bad match this year, banger after banger. Maybe she doesn't have the accolades to show, exactly for this year, but she still had an incredible year. Obafemi is a pretty obvious one. He debuted on the roster, beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, lost to him at Clash in Italy. Was it Italy this year? Or Clash in Paris, whichever one it is. I always get it messed up. And then obviously just retired Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Like, I think that's a pretty good MVP record and stat so far, but he hasn't had too many matches. That's why I do like the next person on this list a little bit better than Oba. I have Penta on here. Penta, week in, week out, is having banger after banger on Raw. He won the IC championship from Dominic Mysterio beginning of this year. He's defended it all year, and he just lost it in a huge moment at SummerSlam to Chad Gable. Gave back. He's working on AAA just a little bit, and he's had such good title matches with the IC championship, so it's hard to not put him in the conversation for MVP. Another person, Trick Williams. Trick Williams debuts. He is so freaking over. He's so hot right now. Goes to WrestleMania, wins the U.S. title, and then obviously just lost it at SummerSlam. But I think he might be, it really is the front runner for Money in the Bank. But also, we could see Trick Williams as world champion before the end of the year. And they're trying to obviously probably find some way to get him into that scene as soon as possible because he doesn't need the U.S. championship anymore. So that's another person. CM Punk. CM Punk's a good one. Had a incredible match with Roman Reigns. Took some time off, returned, won the Undisputed Championship. So it's like, yeah. But my pick, MVP of 2026, is El Grande Americano. It's got to be. The moments that he has had this year are unmatched. He had the greatest match I have ever seen. And also, Chad Gable's another pick that I didn't throw on here. He's another person you could put on here as well, but I'm going to pick El Grande Americano, the real El Grande Americano. He does all this heel work on Raw, gets booed like hell, goes to AAA, gets pushed like an MFer because of the amount of love he's getting from the crowd in Mexico. And he has this moment at the Royal Rumble where him and OG Grande do the first stare off, and then they have this giant feud, the best feud we've seen in years, ending off with the greatest match I've ever seen, the greatest match this year, no doubt, unless in the next upcoming months there's just the greatest match ever, but I don't think there is. Greatest feud, greatest match, still getting cheered like crazy down in Mexico. Right now he's feuding with Paris de Mal, and they're getting hated, and again, they're just building these great feuds, and you can't build a good feud without a good forefront leader behind them. He's definitely going to win the AAA Mega Championship from Dominic Mysterio at the next PLE Triple Mania. It's coming up in September. It's like, so in my opinion, just looking at someone that had nothing kind of at the beginning of the year, and then now all of a sudden is the most well-known, loved person in Mexico, and is now going to win the, greatest prize in all of Lucha Libre, the Mega Championship. It's like, it's hard to not put him in conversation for WWE MVP of 2026. Austin Theory debuts a new finisher. It's like a rip curl forearm. Thought it was really cool. Thought it looked pretty slick. Again, Ataxia is his signature move that he just needs to be hitting because it's dope. I'm so sick of him being a heel. I'm sorry. I want to cheer for him week in and week out, but it's hard to because I just want him to be a babyface so bad. Maxime called him my bad boy. This genuinely made me cringe so hard. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And yeah, the Vision's just doing the Vision stuff. Braun Breaker versus Obafemi. Let's get that rolling. That's going to be a banger. But for the rest of the group, I don't know. I'm kind of already bored of it a little bit. So whatever. Got a question for you guys. And I want you to go down in the comment section and answer this for me. Why is Dominic Mysterio losing every single match. Like, this has just got to be the most insane brand switch I've ever seen. So, how does one get booked losing to Dragon Lee, no offense to Dragon, and Danhausen on normal WWE TV, to then going over and being this huge mastermind character on AAA? Like, I don't remember the last time Dominic won a match. And then like I said, you look at what he's doing in AAA, and he's like this mass manipulator, like giant big brain, like manipulating everybody, like a big puppet master that's rolling straight natural 20s on his persuasion, and people are doing his bidding for him, and that's the reason he's still the mega champion. And his matches in AAA, by the way, are fantastic whenever he wrestles, because on AAA, they're also not letting him wrestle still. Like, the characters and booking are so different. It's like if Ludwig Kaiser, for example, was actually pretending to be El Grande Americano. Then it'd be like, he's this guy, this European guy from Imperium, and he's like this douchebag, and then he goes to AAA, and all of a sudden he's like this loved luchador that's incredible and can do no wrong. It's like like that. Like, that's how insane this brand switch is between characters. Are we seeing some sort of like Money in the Bank Dolph Ziggler cheese where it's like, all right, Dom, you're going to lose until Money in the Bank, and then you're going to win the briefcase, and then you're going to lose until you cash it in? Like, that's what it feels like. Like, he's losing to people he never should be losing to, and it's stupid that your mega champion on AAA is losing to Dragon Lee. I'm sorry. And he's losing to Danhausen. Like, you're making him look like an idiot whenever he could be a primetime player within the WWE. What criteria should determine greatest superstar of all time? So, like, whenever I'm putting together a top 10 list, I do it probably every few months, and I kind of just like think to myself, like, okay, what do we need? You need someone that's super over with the crowd. You can be as good in the ring as you want, but if the fans don't care about you, then it doesn't matter. Again, you want to be good in the ring. You can't be incredible on the mic and then you turn around and you flub every single match you're in. So you need to have this good balance. You should just be good at everything. You need to be an all-arounder that is good at everything. I think another thing is, like, if you are someone that is I want to say genre defining, because I mean genre defining as like, oh my gosh, this guy's the greatest mic worker of all time. This guy is the greatest technical in-ring specialist of all time. This guy has the greatest character work of all time. This guy's the greatest seller of all time. If you are the guy where it's like, and I'm going to use him for an example because I just said him. If someone ever says like, oh my gosh, that guy's almost as good as selling as Dolph Ziggler. If there is a person that you compare every single person to in the act of selling, that person deserves to be in the top 10 because they have genuinely changed an era. That's what it feels like, at least. Like we'll keep using Dolph as an example. It's not like people usually say it's like, oh, like Stone Cold is the greatest of all time. It's like Stone Cold's the greatest of all time because of his character work and his ability to work as a heel and a face, and his in-ring was great and the fans loved him. But he's not the greatest seller of all time. You wouldn't go, oh my gosh, he's almost as good at selling as Stone Cold. It's like, that's not what he was known for. If you're the person that is leading the forefront and leading the charge in promoting being good at selling and making other people look good, you got to be up there in the greatest superstar of all time. It's like The Miz is almost up there for me, almost in my top 10, because it's like people will always sit there and be like, man, he's almost as good as The Miz on the mic. It's like, if that's like your genre defining, trait defining guy that everybody keeps going to, it's hard not to put him in the top 10 because, again, he's leading the charge. So I think the criteria for determining greatest superstar of all time, it's you got to kind of pick and choose what you think are important. And what I think is important is finding someone that was so good at doing what they could do that they are the star player, the statue in the middle of the stadium kind of superstar. You guys can pick up what I'm putting down. I'm actually interested in next week's Raw since J1. And I know a lot of people are like, oh man, we got Face Solo for 2 weeks and it was fantastic. This is not over. You guys, this is not over. He said he's just going to bring him to Roman. I think instead we're just going to get a Solo roast fest. Maybe some Samoan spikes. Maybe an eventual feud between Roman and Solo. Maybe LA Knight gets involved. Maybe Royce Keys returns. Maybe, who knows what. But there's no way they saw the work Solo was doing and actually decided to just take it away. I think it's all a ploy to have Solo turn on Roman, LA Knight, and maybe he helps LA Knight win the championship. That would just make so much sense to me, where he's kind of like this Trojan horse. He's like, fine, Roman, I'll be in the family again. And then he's going to be in the family. I'm going to keep saying that even though I hate it. And he's going to be there for like 2 weeks. And then he's just going to turn on all of them. Like, that's what they should do. Or he's just going to show up and just be like, nah, screw you. That would be even funnier. But don't think that this is the end of the Solo Sikoa singles babyface charisma push, because it's not over. What's a small moment in WWE that you will remember forever? I went for a small moment. I'm just thinking of like things that people don't think of that much whenever they're like, oh man, remember when this happened? That was awesome. I was randomly thinking the other day, that's why I thought of this question. Do you guys remember when Logan Paul randomly showed up on Raw? I think he was maybe in a backstage segment with CM Punk, and CM Punk was like, you need to think about what side you want to be on. And there was this moment where CM Punk's getting ready to go 1-on-3 with, I believe it was the Vision. And all of a sudden he runs out. He has brass knucks in hand. And there was like 30 seconds where the crowd was building and they were cheering for Logan. Logan Paul, of all people, made his way out to the ring, brass knuckles in hand, and people were like, oh my gosh, he's going to help CM Punk. And he just knocks CM Punk out with the brass knucks. That moment will never leave my head because it got people. People that were in the ring, in the stadium, they thought for that 30-second moment that Logan Paul was going to save CM Punk. He was going to be the savior. And it was hilarious to hear people go yeah, Logan. And they were like cheering, and because he was backing up the guy that everyone loves. They're backing up the best in the world, quote unquote. And then he turns around and punches him in the face. Like, that's hilarious to me. So that's a moment I don't think I'll ever forget. And we're going to wrap up this episode with one more thing. Everyone's favorite. Wheel of Superstars. Let's go. Oh, no. I'm on the wrong thing. Hold on. There we go. Wheel of Superstars. You guys know how this works. I literally just spin this wheel. And depending on who my favorite superstars are, I blind rank them on a scale from 1 to 5. And once I put them in that ranking slot, I cannot change it. Give me that first spin and let's see who I get. Looking at Big Kofi Kingston. Now, see, this is single star Kofi Kingston, and I gotta tell you guys, I loved singles Kofi back in the day. SOS, I hear them calling. He had such a banger theme song. Kofi Kingston, I think, is a pretty solid 3. He was always my favorite member of the New Day, by far. And I loved his singles push. And everyone knows Kofi Mania, but me personally, love Kof. So I got to put him at 3. Who's next? Give me some more heat or some trash so I can put them down low, I guess. I believe that is Braun Strowman. I do like Braun Strowman. I think he's a really funny guy, just like out of character, out of WWE. He's the monster among men. Like he's just a giant dude. Pause. Um, but he's like not one of my favorite people ever, but I don't hate him. I like him a lot. So I'm gonna just put him at 4. I do have to put him below Kofi, and putting Kofi at 3 kind of makes me scared now, because if I got Braun, I have to put Braun at 4. It's like if I get someone that I like slightly less than Braun, then I just have 1 and 2 left. So honestly, I'm hoping for like back-to-back bangers on here. Like people that I love. Who is that? Is that the Heartbreak Kid? Is that Shawn Michaels? Man, I love Shawn Michaels. I wish I was alive to witness the work that he did back in his prime. But like, looking back at it now, it's like one of the greatest of all time, one of the greatest to ever do it. Shawn Michaels, I'm gonna put 2, pretty easily. That leaves us with 1 and 5 left. So, tale of two stories is what they say. Who's next? I believe this is gonna be JBL. JBL is a good 5. I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with JBL. I actually like him a lot. It's just I never grew up watching him. I don't really have like an emotional attachment to JBL at all. So 5 slot works. So we need a 1. We need some huge spin. There's not too many people on here that are going to beat Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. But let's see. And that is not going to do it. Bobby Lashley, gross. I made a massive mistake. I do. Like, Bobby Lashley isn't terrible. He's just one of those people that got pushed in the WWE, and one of those people that's been a world champion and this and that I just do not care about. So definitely messed up. So the finalized blind rank list is JBL at 5, Braun Strowman at 4, Kofi Kingston at 3, Shawn Michaels at 2, and Bobby Lashley at 1. And if I had to change anything, Bobby Lashley would go at 5, and everything else would bump up for sure. So definitely made a mistake in my blind rank today. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it in this episode. I appreciate you for joining me. Make sure to check back in next week whenever I post another episode. I will have my video, my SummerSlam rankings tier list coming out within the next few days, probably tomorrow, I would guess. I am filming this kind of late. We had storms around me, and my power went out, so that was pretty dope. So I couldn't record at my usual time. But I'm excited to see what goes on in the world of wrestling this week. If you guys want to do me a favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe. Maybe hit that little bell if you're feeling like it. Go into the comments section and please just chat it up down there with me. I will be down there to talk with you guys about anything I talked about in this video, whether it's the finishing moves or necessities to be considered the greatest superstar of all time. You know, what do you guys think about the superstars potentially returning in 2026? What do you think about the current state of the AAA Mega Championship and the Women's Championship over on SmackDown? It's all a big what if, and I can't wait to talk about it next week. So stay happy and stay safe, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful day.